I concede our party is not for the kind of cocaine-fueled orgies that a freshman Republican representative bragged about this week.
Oh, in case you're wondering who he's trolling, it's this guy.
Look at all these people, a lot of them that I've looked up to through my life. I've always paid attention to politics, guys that, then all of a sudden you get invited to, like, well, hey, we're going to have kind of a sexual get-together at one of our homes. You should come. And I'm like, what did you just ask me to come to? Yeah. And then you realize they're asking you to come to an orgy. Yeah. Or the fact that, there's some of the people that are leading on the movement to try and remove, addiction in our country. And then you watch them do, a key bump of cocaine right in front of you.
Key bump of cocaine right in front of you.
This legend is Jamie Raskin, and he's arguing in favor of the federal legislation of marijuana on the House floor. And in doing so, he expertly trolled his Republican colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud today to stand for this legislation with the party of democracy and freedom for the people, rather than the party of Big Brother and failed drug authoritarianism. I concede our party is not for the kind of cocaine-fueled orgies that a freshman Republican representative bragged about this week, but we do understand that their marijuana prohibition laws don't work for our people.
And Raskin brought up the controversy as he argued in favor of an amendment to the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, or as it's known as the MORE Act.
Do you know that 150 million Americans have used marijuana? Half of the country, and that's just the people who are being honest about it. Half of the country has used marijuana, but you can still be denied security clearance and government employment for having once used marijuana. That is plainly stupid and wrong and unfair.
The U.S. House of Representatives voted on Friday to pass this legislation to legalize marijuana at the federal level, which takes them one step closer to decriminalizing cannabis across the United States. But if the following arguments heard from Republicans are anything to go by, the bill will face some strong headwind in the Senate.
I know addiction. I know, and I've studied addiction. I can tell you, marijuana is nothing more than a gateway drug.
Where have I heard this argument before? Oh, that's right, 1940.
Sometimes in these troubled days, the very thoughtlessness of youth has led to a living nightmare. Addiction to drugs, too often acquired with tragic carelessness, may take control of a life.
Hey, young America, we need to talk about something called grass. Not that grass. I'm talking about marijuana.
It's stimulating.
Against the GOP's failed authoritarian war on marijuana that depends on paranoid tropes from the 1970s. It's like they saw reefer madness in middle school and never got over it.
While Republicans are stuck in the past, Raskin and many other Democrats, as well as most Americans, are in favor of passing this act.
More than 2/3 of the states, medical use of marijuana has been approved. In other words, it is legal in the vast majority of states of the country to use marijuana for medicinal purposes. What a massive outbreak of common sense in America.
So while Republicans are confessing to drug-fueled orgies within their party, Democrats, well, they're actually fighting to pass legislation that an overwhelming majority of the American public support.
But we do understand that their marijuana prohibition laws don't work for our people. But in any event, Mr. Speaker, we can all agree that we should not be denying our constituents the opportunity to serve in federal office by denying them security clearance simply because they've used marijuana.